Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time zones where
Okay,
you
Gabriel. So
are.
yeah.
Okay, let me accept the other people. So there's different people coming. We're going to wait for 1 or 2 minutes to make sure that everyone is here,
No problem.
and then we will start the presentations. Just for you to know, so there are some people who are able to attend in real time, and they are going to attend the meeting. But most importantly, we have a community of investors who are going to watch the replay and eventually reach out to you guys once we have recorded this and we have sent them the replay. So
Hmm.
there's a two-step process.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is start the. I see here. Just 1 second, Lenny, because the process, so it's going to be taking 1 hour. So first, I'm going to do a short introduction of the 2060 Foundation and explain the context in which we're doing this pitching session. And
Uh-huh.
there's two startups. One is yours, Lenny, and the other one is from Oleg, who is here with us. Can you hear us, Oleg?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, great. So,
No,
if
I,
that's oh,
I can hear you. It was not Oleg. It's me now.
but I see Oleg Teterin in the
Yes, it's me. It's me.
yeah. Okay, okay, good, good. So Lenny, if you're okay, I'm going to stop sharing your screen and I will share mine just for 5 minutes until we do the presentation, and this will also allow the other people to join in for the
Hmm.
ones who are a little bit late.
Okay, who's going first?
Um, I'm going to tell you in the presentation, so you're going to be first.
All right, fine.
Okay, so again, hello everyone, and thanks for joining. Um, this pitching session is an initiative from the 2060 Foundation, with a nonprofit I have created with a couple of fellow entrepreneurs and scientists. Our purpose is to help humanity defeat aging by 2060. It's a long-term project. It's a complex project, but it's something that is ambitious, yes, yet totally realistic if we put the right resources in front of this audacious goal. So a couple of things about the 2060 Foundation. First, it's a nonprofit. We are here to help longevity move further and accelerate the pace of research. Our purpose is to defeat aging by 2060. We have more than 200 members, scientists, medical doctors with expertise in longevity, venture capitalists, angel investors, and also entrepreneurs who, um, support and are project owners in the field, be it in the biotech space, where we really try to understand the biology of aging, or in the health tech space or the health span space, where we try to apply the technology as it is available today to the patients and to society as a whole. And the flagship projects we are working on right now is the 2060 Longevity Investment Club, where we gather a worldwide community of investors who understand that longevity is the most interesting and has the highest potential of return on investment in the history of humanity. Once we are going to have that inflection point where we are discovering some technologies and we can bring them on the market. Um, but at the same time, they are also, trying to. Sorry, we have somebody who has just joined in. I have to accept him. Yes, so it's a very interesting investment opportunity, but it's also something that is going to allow each one of us to live longer and healthier lives. So I would like to talk a little bit about the different people that are fully operational in the foundation. So I'm president. I am founder of the foundation, co-founder of the foundation. I am a serial tech entrepreneur. I've built startups in the tech space for 20 years. I sold the last one in 2021 to a major US corporation. And I have discovered the longevity space 2 years ago. And it's such a fascinating space. I had to be part of the revolution. So we have Max, who has been working in a software specializing in AI, mostly for biotech and health startups in the United States for the last 10 years. He's very well connected to the longevity ecosystem worldwide. We have Stephanie Lindstrom, who has been working for Genentech, Manish Shamoli from the Buck Institute Research on Aging, and Luisa working for the National Institute on Aging in the United States. And most importantly, we have with us Brian Kennedy. Some of you guys may already know him or heard of him. Is one of the most prominent figures in the space, working for Singapore. He has been director of the Buck Institute for a couple of years before going to Singapore to help them with longevity. So that being said, the structure of the pitching session is very easy. We have this short presentation, which I'm about to finish in a couple of minutes. Then we're going to have two startups pitching. The first one being Wellness and Beyond from Lenny Levin. So there's going to be 10 minutes of presentation and 10 minutes of pitch and 10 minutes of question and answers. And then we have Longevity in Time with Oleg Tatarin following in the second part. Now, that being said, Lenny, now is the right time for you to share your screen and to do the pitch. Everything is recorded. So I'll stop sharing mine, and you should be able to share yours, just as you've done previously.
All right, I'm all set.
Yes.
Okay, hello to everybody, and I'm Lenny Levin, the founder of Wellness and Beyond. Longevity 4.0 is a new framework to extend lifespan by preventing progressive wear and tear, avoiding a loss of a body's mobility and functional limitations. Longevity 4.0 is a novel science-based approach to view longevity from mobility perspective and challenge to common understanding that injuries are unavoidable, loss of mobility is inescapable, and human body degeneration is inevitable. Research found that reduced mobility and subsequent functional limitations may contribute to lifespan reduction by 10 years. Mobility is defined as the ability to move joints through a full range of motion. The present protocols are not incorporated with joint movement considerations. And current knowledge of joint movement is under-recognized and understudied. And mainstream understanding of a human body is it's a muscular-driven system. And there's no understanding, a proper understanding of the joint movement. So also functional interaction of skeletal of the muscular system and skeletal systems is not well understood. Also, I'd like to note that the positive impact of biotech and high-tech solutions to improve longevity is significantly affected if loss of mobility in progressive bodies breakdown is not addressed. So this is a slide just to give you a brief highlights of the lifespan development. So in the prehistoric era, it was people living to about 30 years old. Then it started improving, and then from 1500 to 1800, it was an increase to about 40 years old. And now from 1920 to 2020, the lifespan doubled. However, vast majority of all populations living in with the limited mobility and functional limitations. So now we're gonna move to a slide with the human musculoskeletal system. So musculoskeletal system consists of two major components, muscular system and skeletal system. And also on the right, you see an image of human body and all the related joints. As I said before, that at this point, there's no understanding, a proper understanding, how the joint's supposed to move, and also no understanding how the joints because joints are connected to the bones, and bones form a joint. So then there's a interface how it's supposed to work, but it's not well understood. Also, again, I want to emphasize that human skeleton actually is integral part of human movement. But at this point, it's not present in any of the existing protocols. Also, because of that, there's a widespread dysfunction, musculoskeletal dysfunction in the United States, and it's rising rapidly. And now we're going to move to the next slide. This is the stats, statistics of the musculoskeletal disorders. So as you see that 126 million adults affected, so 1 out of 2 Americans have a musculoskeletal disorder. And also there's the other statistics are which is staggering because the adults who have arthritis is about 55 million. And then there's a number of physician office visits for back pain, neck pain from 2000 to 2013. And then there's 100 million people approximately suffer from neck and back pain. So this is really an area that needs to be addressed if we wanted to live longer and healthier. So now longevity 4.0 involves interventions that address these problems. So fitness 4.0 would prevent the loss of mobility and avoiding wear and tear from functional limitations. And also functional therapy 4.0 is the alternative to physical therapy that can treat injuries successfully and return to normal function. As opposed to physical therapy, the treatments are limited to drugs and surgeries. So, and then there's also included the weight loss, which is also part of the longevity issues, because people who overweight, they really don't have a risk of major chronic diseases, and as a result, they might not live longer. Now, the next slide is the business models and the way to get this out you reach out to the markets. So this two models, one B2B and B2C, and then I think that the B2B, it would be a better model and more effective and will be a faster return of investment. And also there's another company who started from a private practice in a similar area of trying to improve body movement, functional capacity, grew from private practice to 160 million in sales. And then also there's additional markets to untapped markets in other areas like a franchise, for example, locations for functional therapy and fitness could be another source of revenue. So now is the fitness. Basically, I also want to mention about the Fitness 4.0 is incorporated with joint movement and alignment to prevent a loss of mobility. And to draw an analogy, we could say that a car, if the wheels are not aligned, then it's going to wear the tires. So exactly the same here, because it is human skeleton has mechanical properties, and the bones are levers. So then, if the lever is not properly aligned, then it's going to wear out. It's going to wear out the muscles and the joints. So, and also functional therapy, as I said, that has proven to injuries and to treat injuries successfully and bring to the normal function. Also now the business stage is pre-seed, and there's revenue traction about 250,000 related to fitness and functional therapy. And also I'd like to also point out that this a better understanding of joint movement, better understanding of operation of the musculoskeletal system is a unique intellectual property, and it can be patented. And the last slide is about me. So I have 30 plus years of experience, 2 startups, combined revenue traction about 750, and developed new protocols for Fitness 4.0, Fitness 4.0, Functional Therapy 4.0, and Weight Loss 4.0. And then we're producing positive results to extend longevity and sustaining mobility and preventing progressive wear and tear. And also myself, I'm not only a scientist and developer, I'm also a competing athlete, and I've been competing for 27 years. And this is actually how it started, that I wanted to find an answer. How can I do competitive events like triathlons and distance running and stay healthy? And this has led me into studying, because I didn't want to come up with my own homegrown ideas and try to make it work. I thought that it would be better if I understand the science and the structure of the human body, and I studied human anatomy, kinesiology, physiology, and biomechanics. So, and I found a major gap that in literature, training manuals or other literature, they present the structure and components of skeletal system, but then when it moves to practical applications, there's no mention, there's no understanding, and it's not incorporated into existing protocols, and it's all about the muscle, getting muscle stronger. So which at this point is that if we want to get stronger and fitter, then we need to get to beat the muscular strength. But it's not the case, because if, again, like a car, if the levers are not aligned properly, then what's going to happen that it's going to not produce optimal muscular force, and plus it's going to put stress on undue stress on joints and connective tissues, and as a result, most of the actual musculoskeletal problems are joint related. So, and there's at this point there's about 100 million office visits in the United States related to joints problem at this as we speak. So this is a real problem, and this needs to be addressed if we want to live to 100 years old and still doing triathlons and running marathons. So now I'm not saying that everybody, this is the goal of my, actually my personal goal. Yes, I'd like to run as long as I can. And I also know people who are able to run 400 years old, but the problem was that they started when they were 60. And I started also at 50, but I still 27 years old, 27 years later, I still able to do it. And I basically minimized the wear and tear and lost the mobility. So, and that's pretty much, also I am a published author. I published books in a series called The Anatomy of Longevity. So another thing that I want to point out that for me it was really surprising that at this point, the human anatomy is not fully and completely considered when we develop new interventions, especially for the longevity. And the thing is that human body is described from anatomical point of view, but unfortunately at this point is the thing is that it's only bits and pieces and different depending on the application is applied. And one of them is what I found that the major the largest part of the body, skeleton, is missing and has been missing since the antiquity era when they done the first dissection, and still not present in the present protocol. So it wasn't my grand plan to beat all the existing industries. It was just me to finding out how I can do things that I want to do. And plus, then I started getting people asking me, since I'm knowledgeable about functional anatomy and biomechanics, how can I help? And then it turns out that when I applied my knowledge, I'm all done, yeah.
Okay.
So when I applied the knowledge, then it helped many other people, my clients, to get better results.
So now I think we should be getting to questions. If you guys have any questions, I got mine, but I will let you ask your questions if you have them.
I have a question.
Yeah, Terry.
How long have you been running, Mr. Limit?
Since 1977. It's 1977. It's about 27 years.
Okay, and I understand. I appreciate what you delivered. I also, in my late 70s, and I continue to work out. But some people, if they don't, I find at the gym, and I go to the gym every day practically. There's a lot of people because they have never experienced any athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
Their bodies and their muscle structures are not don't have any memory of that activity.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that is a course of learning, especially if somebody's going to start out, at 50 years old or 60 years old, whatever. I see many people. The problem with most people at the gym, they can't handle 6 months of this 6 months worth of discomfort in the fact of trying to develop those issues in their body that will allow them to be more flexible, to be stronger. And a lot of times they don't have the hormone the hormone count, especially in men for T cells. They get the muscle density and the elasticity that they used to have, where they could work out 2 days and it would last 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
At our ages, we have to work out constantly to keep that density in play. So, but it's a unique perspective that you brought forward. Mm-hmm. In the sense of the skeletal alignment, because I see a lot of people that have gone through these knee surgeries, hip surgeries, and things like this, and they're never. I haven't seen one yet that was an alignment that was correct, that actually gave them the freedom that they had when they were 18.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so was a question that how
Well,
do
the question is this: the question is this: a third of the population is in need. A third of the population doesn't need. That would be the younger class, and a third of the population is just too old to engage when they're in their late 60s, 70s, 80s, if they've never actually partaken in an activity. So how does your system apply to that?
All right. So then the thing is that I actually, what happened that among all my clients in the last 14 years, mostly were people 55 plus. And the thing is that what I found with them, that the body is still responding even at 70 and even 80 years old. So I had clients that were 80 years old, and when we started working, she was on a cane. And then after 2 months working together, I didn't even know that it happened, but she went to a supermarket, and then somebody asked her, "Where's your cane?" So she stopped using the cane. So this means that this is possible to for a body. If obviously the question is now, if you have enough motivation to do it, that's not small question. But if you have a motivation, then all it is it's first of all, you understand that if you don't use the joints, you don't know how the joints are supposed to work, then you're going to be progressively losing the range of motion. So the movement is going to start small and small and small to a point that you can barely move. But at the same time, one of the key, besides the range of motion, there's another issue that involved here, and this is something can be corrected. Obviously, I don't promise now that I would fix any person in the world, but what it is that range of motion is one issue. The other is that all joints are interconnected, so they form, which is called geometry of motion, and this is geometrical configuration. If it's optimal, then it doesn't matter how old you are. If your bones actually is the most durable tissue in the human body. For example, when they exhume a dead body, what's left? Only bones. And we know that the bones, they find bones that are 1,000 years old, 500 years old. So the bones is very durable, at least for 100 years. So then if we maintain the bone movement properly, then we could preserve the density, we could preserve the tissue, and then we need to also understand how, for example, a elbow joint works with the shoulder joint, or how hip joint works with the knee joint and works with the ankle joint, because it's an integrated movement. If we can get to a point that we could accomplish that, and it doesn't have to be 100% optimal. You could, if you get to 20% or 30% better than you are now, it's a major milestone. So you wouldn't be confined to sedentary lifestyle, and you wouldn't be living in pain and dying in pain.
So your therapeutic is really based on the integrity of the person's commitment.
That's right.
Their diet, their dietary commitment, and the ability to have a trainer around them until they understand and learn the process.
That's right, learn the process. And the other things that I also want to tell you is that this is important to know that when I started working with people, and everybody I talk to, they say, well, what you're saying makes perfect sense, but I can't do it. So then I started looking into why people cannot do it. If it makes sense and they have a problem, they don't want to live in pain, but they can do it. So then it led me into human behavior modification science, and also led into understanding how our bodies work. And one of the understanding is that we all know that in order to stay healthy, this is the modern mantra, that we need to exercise, we need to have a good nutrition, and we need to stress reduction. And this has been since for many decades like that. But then one issue is actually not fully recognized and attended to is the emotional health, meaning that to me, emotional health on this point of my research is the balance between negative feelings and ability to balance them with the positive emotions and feelings. So then if you have that problem, then what you need to also do to figure out how I can get a start with that. And also the way it is actually, since this is all based on anatomical structure. So what happens that if you have a pain, a condition, and you don't do anything about it, for example, in musculoskeletal problem, the nervous system has a sensory system that's very sophisticated. It would keep track of everything that happened to you, to any feeling, to any emotions. And then if this feeling goes consistently negative, then you're going to build this imbalance between your positive and emotions. And that's what is, so that if you don't do anything about the pain, then it's also going to wear out your nervous system and ability to take a step forward and do something about it. So then actually, if you
Lenny,
could move...
Lenny, the time's up and we have a second startup. So if you want to wrap up in a couple of seconds, it would be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was the last point I wanted to make.
Thank you very much, Lenny. And thank you, Terry, for the very interesting questions. So let's get to the next startup from Oleg. Oleg, maybe you want to share your screen and eventually turn your camera on. It would be most welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Great.
Yes, I send requests for sharing the screen. Please accept it.
Oh, there is no confirmation. You just need to share your screen.
Okay.
Lenny, you didn't have any confirmation neither.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. We have it right now. So go ahead.
Thank you.
Right here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm here to present AI simulations of clinical trials. We've been on a longevity market for 6 years, and we decided to, we evaluated lots of concepts and realized that, well, basically people don't want to live. I would say they want to die. We have verified by lots of other longevity products this assumption. And we figured out that the only way for today is to try to avoid early death, is to have simulations of clinical trials which can fast forward the current fundamental research on premature death, and to have for us a little more chance, I would say like that. So it's devastating that on the most longevity conferences, you would see the same speakers, you would hear the same pitches, slightly different from the past years, without any breakthroughs which are affecting the human trials. You can see lots of things going on the mice, on the animals, on the worms, on different theories, but on humans, we have barely 4 interventions which are not on the market yet. And if they will be on the market maybe sooner than 15 years, the other ones which are not yet been moved from the first stage, for example, of clinical trials, have up to 15 years. And the chances of these clinical trials to be approved are very low. So if the current audience are over 30 years old, like me, I'm 49, we barely have like 350,000 hours left. And by this pace of making clinical trials for stages and bringing to market with the same pace as it's today, we will have maybe at least more than 8+ clinical trials with about 24% chances of luck. And that's it. And the game will be over for us, for the ones who are listening to this presentation and to the other humans as well. So we tried to make some simulations in-house, and we achieved quite high accuracy rates. So what we did, we took the existing clinical trials outcomes. We didn't look. I mean, the development team didn't look in the results. So we just put in our model the input data, and we made a simulation. And then we compared with outcome of real-world data clinical trials and compared with our simulations outcome. And we realized that our first trials were about 97% accurate, meaning that if we presume that all clinical trials which were in the past were not accurate on 100%, right? There's always a gap which brings the side effects, the certain duration of getting the effect from the intervention and so on. So by the simulation of clinical trials, we can even enhance the past results, which are of the products which are already on the market. So the idea of, I mean, the product, we need to conduct up to 3,000 simulations based on which was already done and already in the market. If we're going to match with the accuracy to the accuracy which brought that product to market, we can use these 3,000 simulations outcomes and build a data set. We can be surely verify every outcome with the scientists. But after we have more than 97% accuracy in each simulation of real-world data, we can build a new prediction model, which highly likely would be more accurate because it would be verified by the 3,000 older simulations. And we can use it for simulating the simulations which has no yet any kind of outcomes. And since the simulation model was built on only high accurate outcomes and brought the model with the high accuracy, we can presume that the outcomes of the simulations of the non-yet real-world data outcome fundamental researches could be considered as the point where the research, fundamental research, can do their corrections in their work and can fast forward these 15 years of 4 stages of clinical trials. And this process will carry on without any limits because we can always enhance this 3,000 simulation prediction model, which will carry on the simulations of the new research which have not yet been clinically tried on humans. But the AI outcomes could be involved into the making the accuracy higher. Of course, the on every longevity product pitch, you've seen this highly potential financial assumptions and so on. Actually, I don't like any kind of predictions related to the monetary things, but also we can simulate it and market opportunity numbers, which are ridiculously giving our forecast for like 5 and 10 years. And but anyway, that's what reputable resources say, and we plan to stick to B2B model. I would say that high-profile individuals with their budgets and some of them who could be in the terminal stages of different illnesses could be considered as another, so to say, corporation who wants to research what options this person has and how the AI simulations of his current state and these interventions, which not been yet tested on humans, can help this high-profile individual survive, can be presumed as also like B2B concept. The business model is related to obtaining the retainers depending on the current stage of clinical trials. So as we all know that before bringing to market, each stage is hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. So we believe that with our approach, we can be an interest and to speed up lots of research which are underfunded today and are waiting for a fundraise. With our business model approach, I think we can fast forward that approach as well. So what we ask today is access to 3,000 clinical trials which already happened. It's surprisingly, but in the open sources, you cannot find all this information freely. The worm leads to scientific teams who can validate our approach, funds. In return, we give the access to the fundamental successful cases. There are two groups of companies who are competing with us. That's the AI, ChatGPT, and other GPTs companies, and companies like In Silico Medicine. I would start from the second. They all focused mostly on the drug development, and as we all know, the drug development comes after the clinical trial success. We are singular focus on clinical trials, and there are not so many players who are playing on the same field. Regarding ChatGPT and other companies like that, there is no human participation or verification, whatever they say, and most of the information they say not evidence-based and hallucinated. I'm in the business from 18 years old. I have 6 successful exits, made a movie in Hollywood, in this field for 6 years, funding myself lots of verticals not related to what I'm pitching today. Gathered a team who had a sweat for equity model, but we need some motivation since this team is getting burned out for 6 years working with us. Just want you to remind, yeah, we have this kind of time left. You can pass and meet your asteroid alone, or you can contribute and have a less risk, a little bit more chance doing it together, and maybe not to meet this asteroid. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oleg, for the very impactful presentation, especially the start and the end. Very, very nice call to action. Do you guys have questions?
I have one. Is this about building simulations for per person regarding their physiology and neurology and all the other ologies that go with the human body to extend their lifetime through a historical side of data that's now being processed in a simulation format of that person?
That depends on the data input. As we referred in the beginning, we're building the digital twin, and of course,
Well, where does that, I mean,
So-
are you doing a group more or less, the majority of a specific group, and you're getting that data from data, or you're actually developing individual data per person? Because everybody's different. Everybody has different DNA, everybody has a different fingerprint, everybody reacts differently. So you've got billions of individual issues, but I'm trying to figure out how they can match together for you a simulation to produce longer longevity within that one unit of the person, rather than that one unit of similar ideas, which would be more of a group simulation.
I got your question. I can say that, like I said before, we were in the forefront of this technology, and we evaluate a different approach. The approach you described, we applied in disease tracker application for making the personal biobank of each individual, regarding that everybody is different. We didn't find a big interest on the market for that. We put on hold that project, and we switched to the AI simulations using exactly the same approaches, which have been validated by the decades with pharma companies, the government protocols, and all that. Actually, I agree with you. I'm 100% with you on that. But if I'll be fighting the mindset, regarding mindset that people are going to die and people don't care about that, and you know that they're building skyscrapers, launching Mars spaceships, but investing almost zero to the longevity and fundamental science. So if we'll be fighting and we'll be trying to remake the standards and try to make the historical data using of each individual, making every individual simulation, I'm sure the 350,000 hours which is left for us will eventually pass, and we will all die fighting. So we would use the same protocols which have been approved. That's why we applied to get at least 3,000 open source, which is not open source, unfortunately, of the open source data of the past clinical trials, which brought to the market 3,000 different interventions. So we can make a simulation and show when you can compare our outcome of the result with the in-house of that laboratory institution or big pharma company, and they can see, yeah, these guys make a simulation and it's accurate, the same as we did it 10 years ago. Combining all these 3,000 simulation outcomes, we will make a unique data set of simulation with a high accuracy. And then we will input data of any kind of clinical trials, which right now going on the animals, for example, and very far for the humans. We will make a simulation trying to understand what's the animals or people side effects will occur with the current input data. And we would not need years to get that information. We'll have weeks. So using that outcomes of our simulation, again, based on the very accurate prediction model, which was built on the real data clinical trials, we can highlight to the research group where they are wrong or at what side they're not looking at, and to save years of life of this research group, which can bring to market quicker the solution.
So you're building, so your simulation is building a comparative analysis for future study.
Well, it's based on everything which was done before. And if the model will show great accuracy, yes, it would be basically a prediction model, but we will be simulating the outcomes, the side effects. Everything what in 4 stages of clinical trials, the current teams are experiencing. but they're experiencing in 15 years. We're going to make it in weeks.
Well, clinical trials are based on samplings. I mean, it's not random. It's based on, each target, each medical bio group or anybody in pharma. All right, when they develop a sampling, they select toward trying to get a result that they're trying to achieve rather than, of course, I don't think they could probably do it with only 42 years left before the meteor hits us, so. But it's very interesting using AI as an analytical tool because that's what AI is developed for, is immediate response and secondary considerations and things like this, rather than, like you stated before, waiting weeks or years or months trying to develop, trying to gather all that information into a proposal.
AI is not only for analyzing, it's for simulation. Like you can today simulate the pictures, the photos, the video,
I agree.
the audio, whatever. Why not to use it in the clinical trials? And
I'm all in on that. We use that in our engineering companies.
And regarding sampling, again, that depends on the input data.
Mhm.
If it would be in the input data we should simulate, there you go.
Yeah.
If it's not, if it's only tabular data, it's without images, it would be like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Oleg, another question. How much money are you raising? I'm sorry, I haven't noticed, or I don't remember. And what are you going to do with the money you're raising?
Yeah. We're raising about $900,000 for 7% in the equity of this vertical. Most of the money will go to the payment of the team. Like I said, I verified the nice team for 6 years. They worked equity, sweat for equity model. So it's not the burning cash like in any other company when you need from the scratch to raise to hire the team. We're looking for the big checks, and it doesn't matter on the result. I'm an entrepreneur. Like I said, I had 6 startups. I have hired through my lifetime more than 1,000 people. In this company, about 450 people went through me during these 6 years. And I have a core which worked on this AI. We had lots of different projects in longevity using AI and machine learning and so on. So I have verified this approach, and I know that these people are looking for just any kind of material incentive, like $1,000 per month. Imagine, it's like 1 hour of in US the software developer, but this is highly devoted person who already been transparently analyzed his results. We can showcase what they have built it with a 0 burn rate again. During the time when we were 6 years on the market, badly, goodly, doesn't matter. You can count hundreds of startups which were buried with burning cash for the salaries, for 10,000 per month, for 15,000 per month. Just iCarbonX, they raised $1 billion in 2017, and they were building like digital personality. Where are they now? And there are hundreds of that kind of examples. So
Yeah,
to say,
I know.
I hope everybody will succeed, but Altus Labs are going on a very dark road. They're going to burn this money. When they will not show any result with burning this money, they will never raise. That's the first time I'm raising the money, and I don't have bad raise track. I didn't take a penny from anyone, so I haven't bankrupted anyone. But right now, for 6 years, I tried my best with the Sweat for Equity. I used all my money to finance the databases, little incentives which are paid by cash, the patents, and also, and I'm out for it. So I'm not asking for 10 millions, 15, 100 millions, because I know it's the same hard work to get a million or 100 million, but the result is different. I'm asking for 900,000, and we'll try it. And of course, we don't need it we need a guarantee that about 10, 15, 20,000 per month will be coming every month until we will succeed with this approach, or we will underline and say, okay, we're going other direction. So this is my approach. Company is
Okay, I
incorporated
understand.
in USA, and if you spread this presentation, there's lots of information on what we've done in longevity field for these 6 years.
Yes. I perfectly understand. So most of the money is going to the payroll, which makes total sense. But what
Absolutely.
outcome are you looking for at the end of this fundraise? In like
Well,
what?
like I said, we're looking for two things. Well, actually, it's three. First is the warm leads to the 3,000 clinical trials outcomes which have been in the past on which we can build the data set. It should be not confidential information, but it's out of reach in public.
So you have to pay for it, right? You have to pay for it for the 3,000.
That depends. So that's why we are having this 900,000, because it's including if the payouts should be. But I'm trying not to pay to biobanks, to such approach, because can you imagine if there is a person standing with his rope on his neck, and logically he wants help to get this rope away, and then he say, you want to take my rope away? Pay me for that. That's ridiculous. If I'm selling TripAdvisor and you're booking.com, I understand, but we all gonna die if nothing would be done. So I don't want to pay for that. I can pay for people, I can pay for servers, but Amazon is giving servers for free, by the way, for us. Google did their job already. Like I said, for 6 years, we did lots of things. So I don't want to pay for that. So I need the warm leads to the decision makers who's gonna die as well with the same rope, without saying, give me money for that. Second, we need the warm leads for the scientists who's gonna verify what we do. Because we can verify with AI what we do, but nobody's reading that reports. Like you said, Brian Kennedy's in your team. They're looking for that people's verification. With all due
Absolutely,
respect,
but by the way, I had another
people
company
really-
who does AI simulations, maybe at another level. It's called Cortex Discovery. The guy, the founder, is in Switzerland. So I think there are different initiatives, and hopefully some of them will succeed.
Yes, but the AI simulation and any approach with AI is very different from any other approach. We can verify our results with the AI itself, and we can continuously verify until we find a mistake, or maybe until thousands or 10,000 approaches, we will say, okay, there is no mistake there. Because we're not the professionals in science, in biology, in medicine, but with AI tools, we can compete with any science. Just give me 10 minutes and I'll answer you any question with evidence-based results. And I can talk with any PhD or Nobel Prize winner. That's not an issue, but it will be not me who will be talking. I'll be taking the information from evidence-based information, and of course, using my intelligence, I will incorporate it, and I will have a more or less equal conversation. So this is the approach we use with AI. That's why we don't have in our board. We had lots of people with us. Vadim Gladyshev, Alexei Moskalyov, you name it. Aubrey de Grey, I verified our approach with Aubrey de Grey, but we don't have them in our board. With all due respect, they're high professionals, much higher than me. But AI can assemble so much more knowledge and maybe have less mistake. But to verify that, we need humans, because sometimes if you give a wrong question to the machine can give you wrong reply. And then whatever you verify for 1,000 times, it would be on the wrong direction because you made a mistake at the beginning. That's the problem of the AI, of ChatGPT and all that other things. And this is our advantage. We understand that. So we highly likely will not be in the wrong direction from that point of view.
Understood. Time's running out. So thank you again, Oleg. Thank you very much, Lenny, for pitching. And again, we've already had startups who have been financed thanks to those pitches. So hopefully it's going to be the case for your startups. So thank you again, everyone. And I really fully abide by your sense of urgency, Oleg. We really need to get going, and we have limited resources in terms of time. and also in terms of funding.
Yes, and then just one more these summaries. You said absolutely, and we should avoid any kind of concerns of whatever it is, like not that good pitch deck. He didn't reply like that. Reputation, this. It doesn't matter. In 350,000 hours, nothing, or for somebody it will be less, somebody a little bit more. Nothing of that will matter. And if you remember, when you asked me why is you're so urgent to pitch, I replied to you, I don't want to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I fully abide by what you're saying. And this is what we are trying to do. This is our highest aspiration with the Foundation 2060, to defeat aging within our lifetimes.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So thank you very much, all of you, and see you soon. I hope with different other investment opportunities for the investors and with new results from your research, guys, Oleg and Lenny. Thank you again, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.